He might not be from Krypton, but he's heads above the rest. His knowledge can't be questioned. You can put it to the test. So if you want to hear the truth and have nowhere else to go, I'll give you the solution. Just tune into his show and just kneel before Zod. Kneel before Zod. Kneel before Zod. Kneel before Zod.
And welcome everybody back to the Phantom Zone. It is the most breaking, ground-shaking, but never media show. Money taking the man, the myth, the legend, the most electrifying and docile morning villain, Mr. Zod. Welcome to learning how to wake up.
Learning how to wake up.
No, I'm just joking. Just joking. Tongue in cheek. Welcome everybody. How are you doing on this glorious morning for us folks in the U.S.? For everybody else, probably afternoonish. I don't know how the time zones run. Hello, Hen. I did see you there. How are you? But welcome, everybody. We're going to do our normal writing thing where we talk about writing, different tips, tricks, and other fun shenanigans. Will we go a full hour? Probably not, but it's exciting to see if we will. So, afternoon. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say, hence 6 hours ahead of us.
Oh, I wish I was in that time zone right now, Hen. Oh, how I wish I was in that time zone.
You wouldn't be hanging out with me then because I'd be working.
That's fair enough. That is fair enough. And then we wouldn't be able to talk about this great topic that we have. For us today in the world of writing. What do you got for us to tackle today? What exciting pearls of wisdom? I always like doing exciting leadings. What exciting pearls of wisdom do you have? Everything falls on you. What do you got?
No. Can I be everybody's favorite protagonist? Can that be my name? Anyway, so first and foremost, I am obviously not a writing coach or anything. I only have 3 short stories that are published and I'm writing a story. So anything that I talk about is just my own. This is just the disclaimer I'm going to always do. This is just my own thing that I'm doing for my writing journey personally. So if you can use some of the stuff that I find, great. If not, you'll find your own way and we can work together. I was actually telling Zod, gotta figure out which side you're on, that, we can do something called like writing sprints, or like what I would really like to do one day is I'd like to do some sort of like writing workshops where we can just all like get together and like learn together, because, I want to reach more people that are interested in writing or becoming writers. I was up until 1 o'clock in the morning reading.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier, and I was up till 1 o'clock in the morning watching Yellowstone for that review I'll eventually do when I'm not in a small coma. And Margot,
good morning.
How are you?
I wasn't sure if we were going to have that many people, and I'm excited that we even have 2. But anyway, so disclaimer, I'm not a writing specialist. I do not want to frame myself as one. This is literally just to pass what I'm learning on my journey to everybody else. So,
guys, I don't give a fuck. No disclaimer here. We're the bomb. Watch us. Pass it along. No. No. I like your disclaimer that you do. I'm an asshole. But I am going to promote it like this, guys. I feel like this is for everybody else a different, unique perspective to give to everybody on multiple angles of how to write. I'd say she's got more down than I do, but I'm like the guy who's learning with you guys. So we're all coming on this journey together. And I think when you publish something, you can kind of step into that arena and go, "Oh, I like how you're humble about it." I mean, you've actually published stuff, so which is much further than I've gotten in my journey. But
There's still time. There's still time. I don't intend to have the show end anytime soon, so maybe we'll get you there, Zod.
yes, I can become the published villain. GP,
that would be cool.
GP, how are you?
Hi, Astrid.
And Astrid, hey, I didn't miss you. I just can't see you right now. So
I got your back. Don't worry. Okay, so since we do have a couple people in here, let's start this way. Is there anything? There's this guy walking around with a trench coat outside my hotel room. Just saying, it's kind of creepy.
Well,
all right, they're gone. I was just like, what the fuck? Anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh, so let's start this way. Since we do have people in here, is there anybody that has specific questions that I can try to answer, or Zod can answer? Anybody?
yes. Any question about anything writing related?
Mm-hmm. Either my story, my writing journey, or Zod's writing journey, or just specific. Sounds like the opening of. I know, right, Hen?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Well, it was weird because there's like a lot of like construction workers. I think they're construction workers that stay here too with me and all my people, and everybody. He's the only one. Like I've never seen this guy before walking around with them, but he seems to have like the same shirt on, and so I'm kind of like, first of all, it is like 80 degrees outside, bro. What are you doing?
Cool. Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Okay, I lied. It's like 57 degrees, but still, what are you doing? We live in Michigan. That is not cold.
No, that is not. That is actually absolutely positively weird. It says, at Mr. Zod, yeah, I'm doing fine. How you two on the panel doing? Good. GP, good. Just been, living life. It's, I'm not much of an early person. I'm more of the late night guy. But yeah, I'm getting used to this whole waking up thing. So it's pretty cool. I'm enjoying this whole writing thing. So enjoying the writing. So what's while people are, because I think people will start to get going on asking stuff as we get going.
Mm-hmm.
What is the first thing that we are going to tackle?
Well, I'm going to ask you, do you want to talk about inspiration and motivation, or do you want to talk about character and world building?
Well, I'd like to be inspired and motivated to get my life together. Okay. So let's do that, because maybe I'll find some inspiration through this conversation.
Okay. So basically, I just wanted, we touched on this a little bit on our last show. Here's this fucking guy again. On the last show, and basically, we talked about things that really like inspire us in terms of other authors and stuff. But is there anything like specific? Do you like? I'm gonna ask you, Zod. Do you have like? When you get the urge to write or think about your story, is there anything that happens leading up to that, or is it more like a kind of like your YouTube thing where you're just like, I know I have to do this, or I know I want to do this, or whatever? Is there anything like, for me, I like going outside and walking around, being in with the world and, mixing with people. I'm a huge people watcher. And so like that's why I keep like looking out my window, because there's people out here. But I'm a huge people watcher. And I kind of like try to frame characters, for instance, on things that inspire me. Like there was this one person in my life that let's just say that they are going to make a really good villain. No, it's not Zod, but that's second best. So it kind of started making me think of how can how can I put this without being obvious in case said person stumbles across channel? Basically, a kind of like an type person where, nothing is everybody else's fault, and, stuff like that. And I was just kind of like, really, this specific person in my life, I was very interested in, because I was trying to be a psychologist for a while. So I have some psychology classes I've taken. And so it's really fascinating to me when I see people with strange behavior patterns, you know what I'm saying? Which is what draws me to the whole community that brought us together that we don't need to talk about. But
yeah, speaking of which, I did see that come up.
Yeah.
And yes, people, we will address the thing that everybody is talking about. No, Hen, it's probably not you, although you'd be an interesting one.
Actually, Hen, funny story. You didn't inspire me as a villain, but kind of like the witchy best friend trying to drag her friend along the path. So there's that.
Generation Productions. It says PV makes a great villain. LOL jokes. No, PV is more of a sarcastic protagonist, I would say.
Yeah.
Less of a villain.
He's an anti-hero.
He's an anti-hero. Yes, that is a good one.
Sometimes when I hear him talk, I feel like he just needs a hug.
I mean, to be fair, I do piss him off purposely. It makes, I'm helping bring out his creativity. No, to answer that question, first and foremost, I know because I heard Astrid bring it up, and about the Johnny Depp thing, I know what's going around. I will talk about that, but you guys got to come back later tonight for that, because we're going to talk about that as a panel. I know it's the newest thing, and I'll talk about that tonight. But as far as inspiration goes, speaking of which, that kind of did bring that up, because for my channel, I'm actually inspired by stupidity that I hear, which luckily in this world, it's just vamped. So I literally just Google and I look at the news feed and I'm like, stupidity abound. I have a show for the next 3 years. I will never stop being a channel. It is impossible to stop being a channel because everybody is really stupid. So I always have content. But the thing that with writing is slightly different because you have to make up a world and create stuff. No, there's still stupid characters are easy for me.
Yeah, makes sense.
But as far as having an antagonist and a protagonist and things like that, I don't know. I draw a lot of inspiration from me, a lot of personal things and dreams that I've had and things that I've sat on. I know when I got back, I had some pretty bad nightmares and things like that. So, and they never really left me. So I used it as kind of a thing to keep in my head, because writing horror and things like that, you draw from, I think the easiest thing to draw from is the deep, dark, horrible stuff is actually good when writing deep, dark, horrible stuff. So
right.
It's a little bit easier for me to find the feel. I don't know how people who have bright and sparkly, bubbly stuff do it, because does that mean they're fucking happy all the time? I don't know. It's weird. I would like to ask them, how do you make these bubbly characters? Because I'm a narcissistic asshole who, as you guys can hear right now, I'm really grumpy. I would probably slap the shit out of someone. This would probably draw a dark kind of tone. So does that mean that a bubbly person is just gee golly, guys, let's write something today. Oh boy. That's what I would like to ask the bubbly people of the world, because there's always that one asshole who's up right now that one person, we've all met them, right? You guys all know this asshole. You sit there and you need your cup of coffee. And before you even drop your first cup of coffee, you have this asshole comes up to you and they're like, "Hi there. Are you having a good morning? Turn that frown upside down." I swear to Christ, if I hear one more person say that bullshit.
I feel like you're talking about me.
I'd like, you know what? You do it in a less obnoxious way.
Ask my husband. He might have a different story to tell you.
Well, see, I knew we'd get along great. Yeah, so as you can see, this is where I channel my darkness from. Like, I've always been angry kind of a thing, so I channel a lot from that. Like, my inspiration has always drawn from, God, I'm gonna sound like a cynical prick, but from the negativity of the world. I grew up in New York. I grew up in the hood, so to speak, and I saw a lot of shit, and I think a lot of that motivated me to going to the ugly side. Like, to be honest with you, I'm looking forward to that Candyman because I like the twist that they put on it. I thoroughly enjoyed Jordan Peele, and I like the social. He's always really, I hate people who do social commentary normally, but he's really good at hitting that and making it work. And I like the take that he did, even though, you know, flaming the police seems to be the thing. But I like how he did incorporate the urban thing, especially I know the area he's shooting in.
Yeah.
Where that shit happens. So I like the new take. And I like to think I draw off of inspirations like that. But a long-winded answer, probably negativity is what I draw from.
So I feed on positive energy. You feed on negative energy. This is why we're friends.
I think this is why this show works. Well,
It's not over here on one extreme, and then you've got me over here on the other extreme. Hi, Geek. Hi, Aaron. I think that was.
Hey, Geekocidal Tendencies. Good to see you, Mr. Gen Pro. What's up? You know, I gotta say, big shout out to Geekocidal Tendency. The man. I like to highlight people who've been coming here for a while, and you know, shout out to everybody who makes it particular people because Geekocidal Tendencies has been with me. I want to say since close to the inception of my channel. Nice. So thank you, Geek. I love having you here. He always makes the conversation very interesting when he comes and hangs out. But yeah, yin and yang, Margot. Yeah. And I think that's what's important, right? Because when we're talking about inspiration, it's good to have balance within your story, right? And you draw from other people to find that negative place because you are so gosh darn happy.
All the time.
All the time. And me, I'm negative all the time. And I'm pretty sure as nihilistic as people are, they probably don't want that all the time, just like they don't want bubbly all the time. So when you take two things and you take them and put them together, I think it makes a good marriage of ideas. So I'd say you inspired me. See, you inspired me to want to write again.
Good. So, thank you. And honestly, like, that's my biggest thing. Like, you know, sidebar for a minute. I always say that if I could make some sort of difference in people's lives, even just one person, like, that would make me die happy, just because I see how much villainy the world has. And, you know, and so I always try to, like, you know, be there for people and, you know, support them in the best way that I can, because honestly, at the end of the day, like, we all came in this world together alone, and we're all going to leave this world together alone. And, you know, and it's just kind of like, you know, I want to find good people. Like, when I first came to the community, I was like, you know, I was kind of looking for somebody to, you know, some people that were like-minded individuals and stuff like that. And then I found this beautiful community. So thank you everybody for welcoming me here. But because I have such a different approach to life. I feel like, than most people. And I wanted to find other people that were, different as well. So like I don't like that, I'm not big, I don't watch like movies, I don't follow celebrities, I don't do those things. And so what, this world has become so materialistic and fake. And so when I came to this community and I found that these people are actually fighting for what they believe in, and then I opened the door. I think we talked about this on our first stream together. Like when I opened the door and found out that everybody is together, but they all have their own thing. And then of course, I find Keely, and then I find Rosalie, and then I find Hen. And so now like Hen and I would like to think that Hen and I are getting close. I don't want to be presumptuous. but
And just really quick, GP, this is hilarious, and I really gotta say this because he threw in a nice Superman pun. Said, "Hey, at Mr. Zod's Phantom Zone, I know Superman can help you with your writing because he can write, or he can make you write at a breakneck speeds." LOL jokes. That was a double joke there because of the speed thing and the breaking the neck thing. I gotta say, masterful work, sir. But yeah, sorry, not to interrupt you.
No, you're good. Rambling.
But yeah, I agree with you. It's because the first thing is the chat has become much more amazing. I notice how great everybody in this chat is, and when I do these different things, I can see how everybody besides we're all doing the fighting for Johnny Depp. But I like how we could do these different things, and it's interesting to see the different people who come, who want to do the writing. I get some people who come for the entertainment aspect and stuff like that. And it's very cool because I wanted to do this for you guys so that you guys can be inspired, especially like in the morning. Because as much as I love to rant at night, the whole reason for creating my channel, and people have heard this before, but I like to kind of reinforce this for anyone who will watch it or anything like that. But the reason for creating this channel ultimately was to create community. I've always been that way. Geekicidal knows he was like my 50th sub. But I've always wanted a place where people can get together and chat and talk. And I think that it's really cool that now we've got this community where everybody can chat and talk with each other in the background and make friends and things like that. And I think that that's the great part about this writing too, is this show is another way to bring in another group of people that I like, because I think writing in general is very creative, and that there's a lot of people who don't know they're creative and have that ability. But I don't know about you, but for me, it's always like writing is one of those things where it's like, yeah, you could do that, but you probably should have another business. And I hate that train of thought. I hate the train of thought that you have to do something you hate in order to get something you love. If that was the case, nothing would ever be a thing.
Right.
And I think, and don't worry, guys, it's swinging to a point. The whole point being, right, inspiration and what motivates us. If you don't go with what inspires you, then what is the point of living? Oh, a bold statement. Whoa, but it's true. You
so controversial.
I know, but people have forgotten it. It becomes this thing of, instead of embracing the things that inspire us and use it to write and to motivate us, people feel like you got to be a serious adult all the time and you can't have those things to keep you going. And my whole philosophy is, well, A, my life is getting shorter by the day and the year. I'm not getting any younger. B, the more you put things off and say you're not going to do something, the more you get stuck in a rut, the more you put things off. I think inspiration is important, and I like being inspired, and I like to think that the creating the world and creating the characters also inspire me in my life too. So what inspires me to make them? I guess the thought of not wanting to lose the kid inside of me, you know.
Find that inner child that Rosalind always talks about.
Yeah, it's finding that inner child and being able to enjoy that.
Yep. Yeah, and that's kind of why I wanted to talk about inspiration and motivation, because I'll be honest, I've had a very hellacious week with some personal stuff I have going on that my husband and I are going to probably vent about when we see each other later today. But it's just been such a long week, and so I was just kind of stuck in a place where I kind of went to a little bit of a dark place, not necessarily dark, because I don't feel like dark is the right word, but it was just kind of very stressful. Let's just say it was very stressful. And so I was kind of like thinking about it all week of what I wanted to talk about. And that's why I want to talk about inspiration and motivation, because like everything that I do, like, yeah, I have a great job and I love my job, and I have a great second job and I love my second job. And, you know, and I also do some other things on the side when I want to. And it's really nice because I would much rather be paid to, this is where I'm different than my biological family. I would much rather be paid doing something that I love than be working for just to make ends meet. And I think that's such a, I hate the way that the world is kind of shifting into, oh, it doesn't matter, you need to work. And you know, which is why even though I approach my writing as a business, I don't intend to make money on it. So I'm not depending on any money flow to come in from my stories. I really just want to write. And so that's where I'm different from my writing friends. And I think I've talked about this before, because, you know, their motivation is it's a business. I need to make money on the side so that, you know, because their goal ultimately is to be able to quit work and just write books all the time, which would be great. You know, in a dream world, maybe I would be like that. But at the same time, I don't want my writing to become something that's just another job. Like, I like the freedom of self-publishing. That way I don't have any deadlines. I'm not answering to anybody but myself. And maybe an editor here and there. But, you know, what I want for people to know is always have a backup plan. Sure. Always make sure that you are stabilized when you start going into achieving your dreams. But like you said, if you keep putting it off, you're never going to do it before you die. Like,
And hey, Gary North, I just had to say that because I hardly ever see Gary because I stopped doing these streams earlier, but now I'm doing it, Gary, so I could see you again, buddy. Thank you. And Generation Productions, she has a book and is working on another one. I am currently kind of starting in the ultra early beta, super beta, infant, young hatchling stage of putting an idea together to try to make some kind of a start. You get what I'm doing here. I've actually, to tell you guys the truth, I've actually, when I believe it or not, when I do write something on it, I'm super meticulous about everything that I do, right down to except for this channel. But with writing, I am meticulous in general because I always have a frame of ideas. And Diamond Knight 76, thank you so much. You didn't have to do that. It is a $3 super sticker, and it says, "How's it going?" It's going good. How's it going for you? You know what, Diamond Knight? One day I would like to have you on because I believe I was on a panel with you, and you're very good for being so elusive. But no, I did like some of these comments that I wanted to read because I did like what they put. Margot put existing and living are different. I 1000% agree. Never grow up. Yes, I do agree with that too.
Mm-hmm.
You need to he needs to go to work soon. Cool deal. I'll be doing the late night talks tonight at the midnight hour. Thinking of having an idea. Yes, Aaron, I am. Yeah, if you guys don't know, I'm kind of in the beta phase of making it. But see, and this is the thing. Okay, so if you guys don't know how my channel started, I had always had this channel up. Okay, so the groundwork was always laid down, but I said, gosh, what in the world am I going to talk about in this landscape? How am I going to differentiate make myself different? And then Harry Potter and the Crimes of Grindelwald, Fantastic Beasts 2 and the Crimes of Grindelwald happened, and I lost it. I was pissed. Came on and ranted. For some reason that caught on. And I decided to do movie reviews, but I would do them because I worked at the theater as I got out. So you'd have my initial, just bam, reaction. And over time, it evolved. So the point of that story going into this is I've been working on this story idea since I was in high school. So it's about like 20 years or so ago that I've been sitting on this story. So now I'm actually just putting together I'm putting together the first scene, and based upon that, I'm going to build on it. I will tell you, I may, if everybody in the comments wants me to, maybe the next show, which will be on, God, what day? Monday?
Monday. Yep, Monday around 5 Eastern.
Yes, nailed it. If you guys want to hear, I will read you something on Monday because I will actually have the introduction done. If you're saying, well, Zod, why has it taken you so long? Because I've been going back and forth and constructing the character. I only have one character, but I don't want to make them too similar to something else that it is heavily inspired from. So yeah, you know. Geek aside, I know you're trolling me. But yeah, so it's weird for writing. I have, I've been getting more and more inspired. I've also been getting inspired for shorter horror stories as well. So I'm kind of just going in between. If you guys don't know, I'm a huge horror fan. Like I have to do a trailer reaction for the new Halloween because holy shit, that new Halloween Kills trailer dropped. My God, I had to show my girl. I was just like, watch this. Literally, he's killing the whole town. It's about time because, like,
right?
they're finally. I'm sorry to get sidetracked, but they're finally like this guy has been murdering people. Okay, in verse, and this goes to story. Okay, this guy has been a serial killer in this town for 20 years. And nobody for 20 years, of all of these teenagers and everybody getting killed, no one thought, you know what, we should like rally the townsfolk up and, hunt this guy down. It's just now like I love how this guy is a lot like John Carpenter, who's another of one of my favorite directors. This guy's pretty much like the John Carpenter blessed him kind of a thing. Oh no, Gary North. I thought so too, but they didn't. It's a 2.5-hour movie.
Oh, Jesus.
So I guarantee you they could have showed us 20 minutes and we still didn't get, because I thought that in the first trailer for the first movie, and they really didn't show nothing. They cut out a whole bunch of things. Yeah, I saw. I saw. See, I have a problem with Don't Breathe too. My problem is, if you guys all know how effed up that story was at the ending, I can't see him as a hero because of the whole entire ending took that away. So I feel like it's really weird that they made the choice to turn him into a vigilante kind of hero when he did what he did to people in the first movie, because it could have worked if they would have just kept it about the robbers. But the plot twist was weird, kind of made me uncomfortable, which I don't get. And now he's going to be like an anti-hero. I don't know if I can believe that. That's like, although I always like that concept, but yeah, see, yes, that's what I'd like to do in my stories. I'd like to do like a John Carpenter kind of thing. So I get inspired by that. So I saw that Halloween Kills, and I was like, oh God, I want to write dark shit. Cause like the way that they do it, yeah, yeah, he's no hero. He's just worse than the bad guys. That's what I thought in the first movie until I found myself actually rooting for the people who broke in the house. Because there's a line. There's a line. The mistake they made, and I think that this goes to writing too. There's a line where you can make your villain sympathetic, and then you take it to a point where they cross over from being even just a villain and a sympathetic anti-hero kind of thing to just a monster.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say the part because one, YouTube will probably demonetize this video, and two, nobody needs to relive that scene. But if you all watch that movie, you know what part I'm talking about. And that specific part to me ruined anything that man could be redeemed in any way, shape, or form. I get the concept. I get why he did it. You can't morally justify it. It's terribly, horribly. It was mentally scarring for me because I said to it, why? Like that. And I felt like that was throwing in so we can feel bad for the girl who broke into the man's house at the end. And I think they should have never put that scene in, to be quite honest, because they had struck a nice balance. And that's the problem. You have where you can only go so far. And I think that goes to writing, right?
Yeah.
It's this proves like, because we were going to talk about development too. And I think this is a good segue into development because this is important. People don't realize how much of a tightrope you walk when you write because you're always one notch of making something too corny or too dark, or if you want a sympathetic villain, you could take them into total lunatic, lunacy. There we go.
I knew that's what you were going for.
Yeah, you could take them to total lunacy, and it literally takes only one moment. And that's actually perfect. We're talking about that because when you first watch the movie, right, that's a great example of what I think they went too far with the character. If they kept it as someone robbing this man's house, right, and then, he kills them or whatever, you could have kept them on that morally gray line where you're like, well, okay, he robbed his house, but did he have to go John Wick on him?
Right.
I mean, killing is morally wrong, allude to a secret, but when you throw torture dungeon in there, you overstep a bounds.
Yes.
And that's why it's important. And that's where I feel like script writers, would you agree? Like the difference between screenwriting and story writing is vast. And you see this when they translate books to movies.
Yeah.
They lose character development because they just don't have the time to boil down what a book can into 120 page script for 2 hours.
Right. And it's funny because my brother always makes fun of me because my hardest, next to the sex scenes, my hardest thing that I write is I'm struggling with how to write a good villain because my brother makes fun of me all the time because he's like, literally you've experienced so much villainy in your life. I don't understand why you can't write compelling villains. And that's just my opinion. He's never told me I can't write compelling villains, so I have no idea. But so that's my biggest thing is I find it really hard to go to that place for specific characters. The way this story is set up is a little bit different. You're never going to know who the true villain is until you meet the true villain, essentially. And so it's kind of really hard for me to develop a sense of where that balance between a villain that's not very scary to a villain that's freaking a lunatic. You know what I'm saying? So I totally get that, like where you're coming from, Zob, because I like that's the part that I'm struggling with right now. So right now my focus is I want to get the book done because I have 5 books to stretch this thing at the moment, unless I change my mind. You know what I mean? So I have 5 books to stretch this thing and figure out exactly how I want it to go. There are specific scenes along the way for like specific development scenes within the series that I need to hit, but it's just trying to figure out how to get to that. I know, right?
Yeah,
How to get
yeah,
to
I
that
like
point.
thank you, Gary Dorff. I do agree, but yeah, and the Geekocile Tendencies put a very good point. The girl in the basement killed his daughter, so she owed him. I get it, LOL. See, and there's first off, yes, shout out. I love the Evil Dead reboot. I'll tell you the God's honest truth. Out of everything rebooted I seen, that was the closest to the spirit of the original. And I even brought a female protagonist because, oh my God, she wasn't one dimensional. Like, I'm woman and I'm the best. She was a heroin addict that had to dry out in the middle of nowhere. First off, that's amazing because that eliminates the whole why are they still in the cabin in the middle of the woods thing, because that is retarded. Like, why would you go in the middle of the woods and stay in a place where there's nothing around? And it's like, oh, she's a drug addict, they have to dry her out. I'm surprised no one ever thought of that as a concept, because that's really good. The special effects and how he wrote the story stayed within the confines. So my problem with that villain, though, is that yes, I get the concept. The girl ran over his daughter and owed him a daughter, but once again, there's a line you don't cross. And there's things, and this swings us back to writing, right? There's things that should be left to the imagination that I feel people don't need to see. It could be implied, and I think the implication of an action is much more powerful than actually seeing the action. And what I mean is, what's scarier? If, say, for instance, you're watching a movie, let's say Saw, right? And for the gajillionth time, you see someone cut in half. Most people would say that was scary. No, it does not scare you. It grosses you out. There's a huge difference. You're visually nauseated at what's happening on screen, but you're not scared. You're not terrified. Now, what if you see a scene where you know there's a killer behind a door, right? Someone walks through, an axe comes down and they cut it, and you just hear the sound as they cut it. Then they cut back and they show you the scene, right? But for that time frame, for that cut, you've built into your imagination what happened. You heard the noise, so you know it happened, reinforcing the thought, but you didn't have to see the action.
Right.
The motion, what happened, the steps getting to the action is more terrifying than seeing it. And this is the thing that authors have a unique, they have a unique advantage. Right. They have to create in your mind those different things where a film has to cleverly show you without showing you. Yes. That's the skilled film director for me. Right. Whereas an author starts with an advantage because they have you build it into your mind, which I find more effective. I don't know if any of this makes sense to you guys, but
right. I'm still here. I just gotta get dressed real quick, but we can still chat.
Oh, he needs all the advice he can get, Gary, as he is a rubbish villain. Opinions. Where I go, a beautiful wee bird is in the garden. Oh, bitchy loves. Yes, Hen, I agree. Okay. Love you. Run fast.
Hi, Bitchy.
Yeah, she's going to run. If you guys don't know, Bitchy loves working out, so she works out like a beast. Yes, Hen. This is good. Misery. Exactly. Psychological, right? They did show a lot of stuff, but Margot, you don't want to know.
I was gonna say.
Jaws is the perfect analogy. Yes, a shark you rarely see but always present. Exactly.
Yep.
That's what made Jaws terrifying. The Fall. Yes. Yes, I agree. The Fall is amazing. I did not realize there were other people that watched that show because if you guys don't know, that's more of, I guess, a British show. And US has to wait to get you guys' shit, unfortunately. 127 hours, agree. Morning, bitchy. Morning, Billie Jean. How are you? But yeah, The Fall I liked. It was very good. It's with I believe Geek Style Talk Tendency. He's talking about the show with Gillian Anderson from the X-Files. Who played Scully. She plays in the show. She's like a detective, kind of, or a forensic person who's got a crap ton of vices, who's chasing this serial killer. It's very intriguing. I believe the first 2 seasons are the main serial killer, and then she's chasing someone else. But it's a really creepy, great psychological thriller, if I'm thinking of the right one.
Yeah, and that actually kind of brings me to, like, when we're talking about development and everything, we have to figure out exactly what our plan is and what we want from the story itself and what message we're trying to put out there. And so, like, when we're developing characters, for instance, it's a lot easier for me personally. I don't want to sound like I know it all, but for me personally, I like to really, I mean, I showed you guys the templates of my character building. So I really like to dive into, you know, what the motivations of my characters are and why they are the way that they are and what goals they have so that they can serve whatever thing they're trying to serve. You know what I'm saying? So, like, in terms of horror, for you, Zod, what do you think I don't know if you've planned this far, but what is the villain in your story, or are you focusing more on the villain aspect, or are you focusing more on the anti-hero aspect for your story, for instance?
Oh, boy, that's an interesting question. Damn it, being put on the spot at like so. I am focusing on the hero, anti-hero first because the story is all his perspective. If you guys don't know, I'm a huge Quentin Tarantino fan. I like to do stories in first-person perspective through narration and jumbled, but I do it in writing form, so it could be really confusing. But bear with it. But yes, I agree. Geekicidal tendency. But to answer my question, or to answer your question, I'm doing it from the anti-hero's perspective. However, I put down the villain's motivations first and who the villain is.
Makes sense.
Which is not actually a physical person. I don't want to say too much without giving it away.
Right.
Until much later, because remember, when you guys come into my story, it's going to be essentially the ending. So it's going to be a villain that is going to be generational, we'll just say. And think of something that could be generational. I'm looking at the villain as more of the concept of evil versus just a solid person.
Okay, that makes sense.
And exploring it through the anti-hero. Like, what is, because this person is going to be the first person that we're looking at is going to be a PI, right? So not constrained so much by the law, but the more we get into it, I want to go deeper and deeper into the confines of the law, and then what is acceptable in order to catch the, I'm not going to say person, but more thing that will be our protagonists. Many protagonists will be chasing.
Okay.
God, I hate dancing. It's so hard.
And you're just like, I just want to tell everybody everything.
Well, no, I don't want to give anything away because part of it is I want it's a matchup of a few ideas, but
Yeah. Like for me, my story is third person, but we're basically focusing primarily on the female lead and her journey to become empress. And so she basically has to go through and she has to prove herself. And, the villain in the story, their motivations and everything, I kind of, I took the time to like kind of lay the seeds for that, if that makes sense. And what their motivations are. And so that's why I was asking, because I didn't know if like you were focusing on like protagonists versus antagonists, or if there was just kind of like a, overall sense of what you're doing.
It's because the antagonist is an, I'll say, external supernatural force.
Okay.
Because like I said, I write horror.
Yeah.
Even though this is a detective story, there is an element of horror and the supernatural in it. Spoiler, everything I do will be like that. But it's the story I approached from, okay, I was tackling it from the perspective of looking at people introspectively.
Okay.
Because in a sense, like we made a joke earlier, and I think this brings it full circle, right? I'm an asshole villain. You're joyful and bouncy, and one would say the good side, right? So we're balancing each other out.
Right.
So I wanted to toy around the idea of, can you truly defeat evil and have a balanced world? And my story is going to deal a lot with that. So my antagonist is not so much a villain. It does have physical features, but it's more of, can people ever destroy the concept of evil or the evil things that people do? And the answer is no. You can never destroy evil. You can't battle an emotion or an action or a byproduct of how people are in general.
Right.
So if that sounds compelling to you and how our heroes feel about this, then hopefully you guys enjoy it. But yes, there will be a physical manifestation of this, but I really want to put into, it's more of a character study. So there's not one real antagonist, but more of an ideal as the antagonist.
Nice.
Yeah. I got deep with it.
Yeah, and that'll be fun. I'm definitely interested in hearing more and reading it and everything. And honestly, which kind of like, I want to next time, since we're running out of time here, but next time I want to focus more on motivation and everything and different things on how to decide like motivating factors for characters and kind of look at like a list of traits and stuff and things of that nature. Because when I build characters, I try to build them deep.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, because I think this would have been a good segue if, as always, we had so much more time.
Yes. If I didn't have to go to work, then we would, but.
And Margot, that was good. Is good still good without evil? Exactly, Margot. Yeah. You get it. So exactly. Yeah, I would love to challenge the concept of, well, everybody. Okay, think about this, and I'm gonna try to like wrap this up really quick because I know you do have to go.
Yeah, I mean, I got dressed, so I have a little bit of time, but yeah.
So here's the idea, folks. Right. As Margot said, is good still good without evil? Because in a sense, nobody is really evil. What's that? What do you mean no one's evil? And I'll explain. Look at any villain that's ever been historically, real life, or fiction. They believe they are doing the right things in their mind.
Yep. Villains
They're
are
not,
their own story.
it's not a solely, oh my God, this person is pure evil. I mean, the only example I could really think of is serial killers. And at the end of the day, even serial killers feel justified in their actions.
Right.
So at the end of the day, the antagonist doesn't know he's the antagonist until he's the antagonist.
Yep.
In a story, right? Some of the most compelling stories are where you could take the villain and go, yeah, I understand. The greatest example of this, I like using this a lot, but Marvel, Thanos. Thanos is my favorite villain because I don't give a damn what anybody says. His reason made a lot of sense. A lot of sense.
Yeah.
Like, and everyone's argued the point, but it's like, no, the world is overpopulated. Eventually there'll be not that much more food and resources and blah, blah, blah. So snapping out half of existence does solve that problem. It's an extreme measure. It's wrong. You're essentially killing people. But at the end, it does solve a lot of issues. See, there's a razor fine difference between what defines the action of the good guy versus the action of the bad guy. And the action of the bad guy is he'll cross that line where the good guy won't.
Right.
And there you go. But yeah. So, final thoughts. Are you inspired now after doing this inspiring stream?
I am personally. I wish I could just stay in my hotel room and write, but work. Yeah, and honestly, like at the end of the day, like basically just to kind of lay out some tips for other people that are looking for ways to be inspired and go outside, walk around, people watch, go see a movie, go, if you're looking for inspiration, find yourself a tribe of people that can like motivate and inspire you and kind of go on a journey with you, like Zod and I here. And and we can all kind of work together and help each other out if we want to write and go outside, breathe the fresh air, go someplace cool, travel if you can. And, just kind of, I know for me personally, because I'm a witchy energy, worldly person, that, going out within the world and just feeling the pulse of the city or the forest or the lake or, even just being around my family and feeling that energy and surrounding myself with people that love and cherish me really kind of helps me motivate myself because at the end of the day, what I want to do is be an example for other people of how you can have all the things that you want in life. And I go over this a lot on my channel. I don't ever really plug my channel when I'm here for some reason, but
Don't worry. It's in the description. Go check her out. Yeah, I actually put all of the links and whatnot in the description so people can go and check you out. So anybody who will watch later, go check her out. But continue. Don't worry, I got you.
No, you're good. I appreciate that. But basically, like what I try to do on my channel is, yes, I talk about my writing journey. So I have a lot of videos of, not a lot, but I have a couple videos on that. I do a couple videos with Hen and we talk about being witchy and getting on our witchy journey again. And I also talk about, I do kind of like a little advice column type of situation because at the end of the day, my biggest driving force when I interact with people is I want to try and push people and inspire and motivate them that it's okay to be their authentic selves. And I have a full-on Zod-worthy authentic self rant on my channel that you guys need to check out if you're struggling with some sort of internal crisis on who you are, identity crisis. So, and then that's kind of like what my channel is for is, to talk about writing, but I also want to help people. So like I said, to tie it all up, just find things that fill you with joy and fill your passion. And my biggest driving force is eliminate toxicity and embrace positivity always. And it doesn't matter who in your life has been in your life the longest. It doesn't matter if you have blood ties. Anybody and everybody should and can get the cut if they need to, if they're not serving you in a positive way in your life. And that's kind of what I've learned in the last few years going into this writing journey, because in order to create good characters, in my opinion, you have to figure out who you are as well. So when you're finding out who you are and what your morals and things are, or what your driving force as a villain is, you have to figure out who you are, so that way you can project whatever you're trying to project. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. That was so inspiring. We should definitely leave out on that note. Everybody, thank you very much for coming up. I can't follow that up. I'm not even going to attempt to. That inspired me to do shit. I was going to go back to sleep, but now I'm going to do stuff because Jay has just inspired me to get my lazy ass going today.
Get it together, Zod.
And so a villain's got to start drawing out his plans for world domination. Anyways, hopefully, on a serious note, we've inspired you all. Thank you, GP. Thank you for dropping by. I will hopefully see you later tonight, buddy. And don't forget to tune in tonight to the late night talks. Yes, I will be talking about Amber being a mother, if it's true. God, I'm going to save this for tonight. Just stop by tonight. I've got so much to say. I was going to do a video when I heard the news. Thank you to Shalana and everybody in our group chat who brought that up. It's so ridiculous. I will be bringing it up tonight in our normal wacky shenanigans. If you guys don't know, we're still getting the format together, but late nights are going to change. And it's going to be a lot more like a Saturday Night Live kind of vibe. I think you guys will like the new format. It's going to be awesome. And yeah, so come by and check us out tonight. And then Saturday we'll be doing another late night talks. Also, don't forget to go over to Pop Culture PB's channel. It's going to be, I think, before mine. I want to say maybe he'll do it like 10, 11 o'clock. I don't know, 9. You'll see his post, but go out and support PB. He's got a late night channel. Let me see what he put. He put a poll up, and I forgot what one, but it was the cheesy,
Yeah.
the cheesy classless show. I don't know. Go check out his poll, and then go check him out, because, yeah. Oh God, what is his new format going to cost me?
You'll just have to find out.
Yeah, you're gonna have to find out. We're still setting it up, but we're going to have I think you guys are gonna like it, because I definitely want to do that. And thank you everybody for watching. Please spread this around, and hopefully you guys were inspired. Everybody go check out Jay. I got all the links in the description. Go show her some love. I will be doing streams on Monday over there with her, continuing this. And thank you so much. 10 people watching for this new segment. I really appreciate it, because these are meant to inspire you guys. And if we get more people writing and talking about it, I think this has done its job. So thank you everybody for watching. And don't forget, there is only one rule here in the fandom zone. Kneel before your favorite villain, General Zod.